Like, it's
Oh,
too hot.
dog. Oh, okay.
Like, the phone needs to cool.
Well, I'm gonna share here. I'm gonna share because I was telling y'all about nightmare guests. I
Mm-hmm.
have the pictures pulled up. Now, how do I turn this camera around? Okay, so this was the nightmare guest that we had in Irving, Texas, and this is just the kitchen.
Oh
That's
no.
y'all. This was a brand new house.
Oh.
Devastated, but we got it all cleaned up. They paid thousands of dollars to get it fixed.
Mhm.
We charged them extra for having to deal with it, so it's okay.
That's
And then
good.
this is another one that we had. So they threw a party and shattered the shower doors.
Dang. Okay. I experienced that. You've
That's
been
what I'm
through.
telling you. I put it on my stories. I should probably do an Airbnb highlight. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those things happen. That's what insurance is for.
Yeah.
That's what, threatening people is for. I told them I was going I was gonna report them to the police. I was like, we need this money right now. So,
Right.
just making sure, especially with these kind of guests, that you're being stern and they're taking you seriously, and they're getting it taken care of. So,
Yeah. So I think one of the best things that we have done is with our messaging. We talked about automation earlier, and
yeah,
because I noticed, after over the years, I noticed that the larger properties are the ones that sometimes will invite people to kind of try to have a party. Our messaging makes it really clear. Our listings make it clear that what we will charge and the consequences of having a party. Our messaging makes it clear, like when the guest is checking in, even. And then because we do have security, so we have cameras and things like that our team does monitor. You can't prevent everything. It's just like any business,
yeah,
right? There are going to be
yeah,
some risks, but we found that when we started to implement those things, it reduced the number of those sorts of parties or anything like that. It reduced it significantly, because if people know up front that you're looking out for that you're on it, they'll be like, let me go ahead and book something else.
let me not.
Right. Yeah.
So one question I want to ask, and if there's other hosts on here, have you noticed the influx of, I won't say crazy guests, but just some off guests since COVID?
Yes. So
Yes.
hard yes. So and we implemented even more stringent things, but I don't know if it's people are a little more stir crazy. Celebration
Yeah.
Life said yes. So what we do is we really look hard at the guests when they book. We do use instant book a lot, but we look to see, do they have prior reviews? Are they locals? Like, are they doing
Right.
like, we really look at that. And I think it's slow, it's died down, but like when COVID really, really started and when things started back up,
It was
yeah,
crazy.
I was like, it's something in the air, something in the water, but
Yeah. Yeah.
putting
Yeah.
those things in place cut it down significantly. But I would say there was like a 2-week period where that kind of started happening, and it was generally with like Celebration of Life said it right there, is local requests for my 3-bedroom houses, generally with the larger properties. So you have to be a lot more vigilant and put good systems in place with the larger properties, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Celebration of Life says she gets a lot of local requests for her 3-bedroom house because the clubs are closed in Miami and people want to throw house parties.
Yeah.
Okay, so has your house been trashed since COVID, Celebration of Life? I'm curious because
I will say
yeah.
one thing. In this environment, I do my best to not have to involve the local authorities, right? Y'all know what I'm saying. And so
I'll show up.
so I let people know, y'all got
She
a
said she declines them all.
she declines them all. Well, it's a balancing act, right? You have
Yeah.
to be a bit of an investigator and see, because I've had some great local guests. I've had some local guests who literally, because of COVID, they can't go anywhere and they just want a place to be for the weekend with their family. But it's kind of like you
Right.
got a little bit of an investigative sleuth and make sure that all the things line up right. And you make it clear to people, you know, what the consequences will be any sort of party. I mean, people don't want to pay a lot of money. People don't want to pay fines.
Yeah.
People have to deal with the police. And if you make
Right.
it clear that you are about that life,
It,
yeah.
well, you won't have no problems.
Mhm.
Something I do want to kind of discuss, especially, I'm pretty sure like a lot of people are interested in Airbnb. So I think this is a very important topic to cover. Are you just on Airbnb or are you on multiple? Because I always say that um, when it comes to vacation rental platforms, and I tell every client this, like it's like social media, right? So you have your people who only like Instagram, you have your people who only like Twitter, you have your people who only like Facebook or Tumblr. I've never been on there, but to me, it's so important to be on all the platforms because you never know who's looking to travel. So we're all me and all my clients were on HomeAway, Booking.com, Airbnb. We're on our direct booking website because we want to give them every chance possible to be exposed to a new traveler. So
Exactly.
I'm curious, like, what platforms are you on? Are you more successful in one than the other?
So we are on pretty much like you. We have our direct booking. We're on Airbnb, of course, VRBO, HomeAway, which they've now like kind of pretty much merged.
vrbo. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and booking.com as well. And then we are on so we do a lot of proactive marketing. So we'll put our properties on all various sites as well, that just
Yeah.
anywhere people can find a property, we're there.
Like furnish finders and stuff like that.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
because basically for a number of reasons. One, you don't want to put all your eggs in a basket. God forbid.
Exactly. You
Airbnb is
know,
good. So
exactly.
you
Listen,
never know.
listen.
Know, like if they were to up and God forbid, go away tomorrow, you want to make sure that you're not starting from scratch all over
Exactly.
again, because you never took the time to learn other marketplaces or other ways of doing business. So no, I highly, 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 highly recommend people be on more than one. Yeah,
And
exactly.
I saw a lot of people a little sour, you know, how we have our little Facebook groups. But, you know, there are some hosts that are gung ho Airbnb. So when everything happened with the COVID cancellations, they're like, I'm not making any money, da da da. And so, you know, to me, when that happened, it's like, yeah, you know, that sucks, but I'm still booked on these other platforms. So I'm not tripping because booking.com, they didn't make people, you know, they didn't make
They
us
said, we
give it.
got your money.
You get your money. If they cancel, you get your money. So I definitely think, you know, being able to be diverse and being in all the different platforms and making your property ready and available is another part of the success and the numbers game and monopolizing the market because
Mhm.
you can't monopolize something, you know, just gonna give
Exactly.
all your money. So
Someone asked, baby, asked, has anyone been a nightmare guest with a fake credit card? So for me, most of my everything is screened through either like Airbnb or one of the platforms, so I haven't really had that issue. I only had something similar like that happen one time, where the guest booked through booking.com, and I think,
uh,
yeah, booking.com, I mean, I
it,
use them, but
we'll have
they
a whole segment on
yeah,
booking.com.
they
We'll
they
have a whole
there's a reason why Airbnb is kind of the most popular. They do a good job. Like they do a
yeah.
really good job of screening people, making sure they have people's money before they even like come to you. If the money isn't right, Airbnb will cancel the guests themselves.
They can't book.
Yeah, they can't book. So
Yeah.
booking.com, their screening process is not as great. But I've only had that happen once. Unfortunately, it was for one night, and eventually I got my money from booking. But I had to be proactive and on top
How
of
long ago was this?
it. Was probably a year ago, because I do see Booking is they're trying. They
Yeah.
had improved quite a bit. Girl, your faces are hilarious. So I mean, I use them, but I definitely like Airbnb and VRBO.
Hmm.
That's my ranking, like Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com.
Yeah, and I think, it's so weird because I even have some clients that only get booked on booking.com, and I'm like, that's so weird. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have any issue guests, but when I think back of, any issues that we have had, they have been booking.com guests. And so we've started implementing just a new approach to those guests. So we make them send across their ID with a selfie, and then they have to fill out an incidentals form with their credit card, and then we run it to make sure that we can have a hold on it, because if it says decline,
Mm-hmm.
cool, you booked for tonight, but you're not staying here because your incidentals card don't work. So
Right.
there's certain things that we've had to put into place, that are a little bit more work on our end, but we're still able to secure those bookings. So
That's good. Really, really good. The systems make such a huge difference. And the
yeah.
thing, sometimes they don't come up, you don't create them until whatever happens, but then you have it in place so that you don't have to experience that challenge again. So yeah. Tall Teasy says, what can we do now during COVID to prepare for the future since people aren't booking? Well, people are booking. So that's the
Tall
first.
Teasy, are you a host? If so, where are you hosting? I'm curious. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, people are booking. The bookings are a little different. For me at least,
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot more like midterm stays. So people who basically are looking, I've gotten everything. I've gotten people who just need a place to kind of be during quarantine. I've gotten people who like I really do love and focus on travel nurses. I've gotten a lot of those. And I've
Yes.
just had people booking for the weekend who just want to like not be in their house. So it's interesting. Bookings are still happening. You just have to, like we were talking about a little earlier, I'm not sure if you were on, just pricing yourself appropriately and not being static. Okay, she said, she's not a host yet, but she wants to be. I'm in Maryland. Well, definitely talk to DM both of us. I do have a course teaching people how to get started, and Mariah does a lot of great consulting, right, directly with
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so we can definitely help you getting yourself started. But yeah, bookings are happening. And I think that is one of the, when you say preparing for the future, I would say one of the best ways to prepare is to get
It's
in
now.
so that one,
Yeah.
you get prices, you can get in for less money than like when everyone and their mother was getting in.
Right. Like, oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
Even when we speak to the point of, and I know we covered it earlier on the first live, but even when we speak to the point of rental arbitrage, okay, so right now, local, we're partnered with apartment complex, but like we're running deals and specials because of COVID, right? So a lot of people's businesses have pivoted and they're trying to find ways to get leases. So I challenge you guys who want to start doing Airbnb, potentially in an apartment, approach some small apartments and say, hey, I'm willing to lease out a building, or one, not one building, but a unit, maybe 2 units. I want to try this vacation rental thing out. How do you feel about that? Because right now, I'm telling you, they hurting for leases.
Exactly. I was just gonna
There's the tea y'all didn't know. They hurting for leases.
say, so if you're like,
So
I'm willing to take a lease, I'm willing to pay you money, they're like, come on in, like whatever you're doing,
exactly.
do it with
So,
but
right
yeah.
now, even though COVID is going on, it's a good time to get in on a lease that isn't full price. So, for example, a lease that is usually $1,600. Well, I know for in Dallas, that's normal. So,
Yeah.
$1,600, you might be able to get it for $1,200 or $1,100. So, now is the time to really be building and rebranding your business and
Mhm.
be grandfathered in when stuff starts back. So I would say the best way to prepare is start now.
Mm-hmm.
People are booking now, and think about. I know I've been to a few states. I'm just trying to get out of Texas. So
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So she says, tall teasy, I hope I'm saying that right. Says, oh wait, no, she asked, she's not sure if
No,
she missed it, but what makes this better than long-term leases? So,
I can speak to that. Did you do long-term leases?
so I did long-term leases years ago. This is when I say years ago, this is like during the great, like
It's
I bought
7 o'clock.
so I've done both. But you go ahead.
So, Tall Teasy, I did long-term leases. I started that the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. And I kind of covered it a little bit earlier, but I guess we didn't cover it in depth. So, for example, just easy numbers again. When you think about, let's just say, a 3-bedroom house in Oklahoma City, we could possibly rent it out for $1,500 a month, and that's like average. But if I have that same house and I'm renting it out for $100 a night times 30 days in a month, that's $3,000. So when you ask what's the benefit, you're charging per night, not per month.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, if you think about it, and I really challenge you guys to think about it, how many Airbnbs have you booked for $100 a night? It's not that many.
Mm-hmm.
When you add in all the fees and stuff, especially a 3-bedroom house, you're really looking at maybe $150, $200 for a nice 3-bedroom house.
Mm-hmm.
So I said $100 just to do easy numbers. That way everybody could kind of calculate. But you'll make a lot more money. Even if you don't rent it out, you rent it out half of the month, cool. You rent out the whole month, cool. You'll make a lot more
Right.
money versus just the regular, yeah. And I think when you talk about long-term lease as well, it's a lot of responsibility in the fact of, okay, well, what if they don't pay? Because long-term leases aren't guaranteed. How many people didn't pay when COVID started? You better
Or
check the
this,
news.
yeah.
Exactly. They
So
still ain't paying. So,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, for me, I like the approach of diversification. So
Right.
I'm never gonna say I'm not gonna do a long-term lease. I think
Hmm.
there are a number of reasons why there's a benefit to that. One, we need long-term leases to still be on the market for
Right.
sustainability, right? Just like not every property can be a short-term rental. So there's that. But at the same time, like if you are diversified right now and you have both long-term leases and short-term leases, and your long-term leases and your long-term tenants are tripping, you're covered because your short-term leases are still making money, right? So
Right.
so that's the way I look at it.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't say, well, I was gonna say I wouldn't say one is better than the other. I mean, one makes more money.
Uh, I think short term is it's faster money. So, for example, it's the weekend, and I mean she knows this. It's the weekend. Everybody books on the weekend. Everybody's traveling. So on the weekend for each property, I know that I'm at least gonna make $300 or $400 just off of Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday. So that's easy money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where a lot of times the leases, it's slow money, but it's consistent money. So you just have to figure out what works better for you, what you're most comfortable with. And to her point, I only got one more long-term rental left. So I'm gonna leave that one there because I've had them for 3 years. But like short term, it's fun, really involved, and it's fast money.
Yeah, and it also like you said earlier, it depends on you and your personality too, because short-term leases are more involved, right?
Right.
Like there's more turnover, there's more. So some people also don't, it depends on how active you want to be. Now, granted, you put in systems like we do where, it's a lot more passive because we have teams, we have systems in place, a lot of things are automated and they're on autopilot, so it's not a big deal. But you have to put those systems in place versus a long-term lease where if you get a tenant and they stay there for a year or two or whatever, it's kind of, I mean, you have things to do as a landlord. So, but
Right.
it's different. It depends on what your personality is. But I'm all for diversification and making sure you're covered on both ends. But if you prefer one over the other, you know, There's many ways to float a boat.
And I think even to her point that she asked earlier, I didn't even think about it because I told you I only have one long-term rental at this point because I've transitioned all the rest of them. But um, when I think about the transition for long-term rental, when someone moves out, the last person I had move out was a complete disaster. So I bought this home brand new, rented it out for 2 years. She moved out. I had what is those them things that suck your blood? I don't remember.
Leeches?
But
Leeches?
bed bugs. It were
Oh,
bed bugs. I
oh God.
couldn't remember. It had bed bugs. It had roaches. It had rat. Because she was disgusting. So
Mm,
I spent so much money replacing the carpet, replacing the tile, like revamping everything, bug treatments. And so it's just like it's a give and take thing.
mm,
So to her point with diversity, I mean, it is good. There's benefits and cons to both, but you just have to figure out what works best for what you're trying to achieve
right.
and your sanity.
Mm, yes, yeah. So someone, Demara, Demara's perspective, I think, asked, how
Yeah.
do you furnish the short leases, rented, borrowed, etc.?
So I go ahead because I
So
talked last time.
for me, most of mine have been purchased. So I'm purchasing the furniture because it's what I hold on to. If I decide to leave a unit, I can take it with me. But I also have done, and I have some clients who have done renting the furniture, and they rent it for a certain period and then purchase it at the end of whatever they have agreed to. So there are pros and cons to both. When you purchase the furniture, it's yours. There's no monthly payment for it, right? That's great. Um, when you rent the furniture, you have less money up front. So a lot of people who do this, a lot of people, clients that I have or people I've helped to host will do it because they want to scale quickly. So if you're trying to do 10 units at the same time and you're spending anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000, depending on how large it is, that's a lot of money up front versus if you are renting and you're doing that many units, your out of pocket expense is a lot less. So it really depends. But for me, most of my units, I've just purchased the furniture. How about you, Mariah?
So it depends on what I'm doing. So for my units, typically, I'm a bargain person. So what I'll do is I'll go to furniture store, like local furniture stores, because I know that we are going to scale. I'm either going to get a new client or I'm going to want to open another one. And so I'll go to the furniture store and I'll say, hey, so if I keep, furnishing, if I have to furnish 10 Airbnbs, can you cut me a deal on this table? I'll be
Mm-hmm.
back next week or next month for another property. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, where I see the benefit is like partnering with different people, even like the local Habitat of Humanity. So there's one here in Dallas, and they get all of the out of date Wayfair items. I don't know if y'all shop at Wayfair, but that's expensive.
Yeah.
But they sell everything at a discount. And then on top of that, they give me an additional discount. So for me, it's the partnering aspect. Hey, I'm going to return and give you business. If every time I come in here, you're going to give me some type of discount because I'm going to be a loyal customer. So
Yeah.
for me, that's my approach to, making sure that I'm saving money for clients or whatever when it comes to getting it furnished. But when it's like my own places, sometimes I'm a little bit picky and I'm like, okay, I want this brand new couch.
Mm-hmm.
But typically I'm purchasing. I don't do the lease thing, but it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, so I experienced it, like I said, with some of my clients who were just like trying to do a number of units at the same time, and purchasing just was cost prohibitive. And I had kind of dabbled with renting before, and so it was a great way for them to scale. And it's crazy because like if you had asked me about that like 10 years ago, I mean, rental furniture just used to be hideous. But just like everything else in the and gig economy, there are so many more modern places. So I think it's a really good option. So um, let's see if there are any other questions. I don't want to be on forever. Okay, I answered that one. Anything else you wanted to kind of go over, Mariah? Anything new?
Um, well, I guess it was kind of with the furniture. I know in Oklahoma City, like my bread and butter, I've been working with Quartz Furniture. So if any of the viewers are in Oklahoma, they have a clearance section, and a lot of states have Court Furniture,
Mhm. They're,
CORT.
they are nationwide.
Yep. So they have a clearance section, and I don't know if everybody has that huge clearance section, but they have your basic essentials like towels, toasters, all that stuff at this location in Oklahoma City. And it's like nothing is more than like $4.
Mhm.
So I'll go in there and buy a whole bunch of stuff up for clients and be like, okay, you want this, you want this, you want this.
Yeah.
So for me, again, like the bread and butter is going to be making those partnerships, like those valuable connections. And then from there, that goes a long way, even when we're talking about how are we surviving in COVID. You know, those casual conversations that they're having with their customer. Oh, I know this girl who comes in here all the time with Airbnbs. Here's her card. She said if you come here, we'll give a discount or whatever. So just those simple partnerships for me has really been like successful as far as, you know, being able to maintain occupancy.
Yeah. And I think you made a really good, you said something that's reminded me that I wanted to mention is really having a handle on your expenses.
Yeah.
Because it's just like any business. If you are making all this money, you're making $3,000 a month, but your expenses are 2,900 or 3,100.
Yeah.
And so it's just like any other business where you have to, like you said, negotiate, put together those partnerships, and make sure that your expenses are in line with what the profit that you're looking to make.
Yeah. And I think again, like partnerships are huge, huge because it's like I rub your back, you rub my back. So,
Mhm.
you know, they're gonna make sure you're taken care of, you know, vice versa.
Mhm.
So
Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Do you guys have any other questions? I'm scrolling through, seeing what we got, what we got. Um, Hey everybody. So, I'll just share if you are interested in learning more about short-term rentals, you can definitely go to the link in my bio and check out the different options. I do have a free Airbnb class. I do have a B&B from scratch course, and that kind of shows you how to get started. It's my coaching program. And I actually just launched for those who already kind of have a short-term rental, you're managing it yourself, but you're looking for travel nurses specifically because you want to serve that market. I do have the B&B Travel Nurse course that I'm just launching, and that walks you through how to actually book travel nurses specifically. So, Mariah, how can people work with you?
you can work with me by going to localestates.com, scroll down. There's an option that says homeowners or prospective host and click book now.
Oh, you're so smooth and sexy with
You know
it.
what I'm
Yes.
saying? I gotta put my game on. No, I'm just playing.
Yes.
But if y'all want to book our properties, you could go to localestates.com and there's a button that says book now. And if you click on that button, you can see all of my properties or internal clients' properties. And yeah, let's keep the dollars generating brown.
Yeah.
We got a discount going on right now. I don't remember what they just sent an email on it. I think it's loyal guest. So if you want the discount, you know, let me know because my clients need money. We need money, you know, let's make money together.
Cool beans. Yes, absolutely. And I'm all here for circulating the dollars in the community. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to share this live and I will figure
Oh,
out.
wait, 1 second. Y'all, it's local estates with a K because it started in Oklahoma. So don't go to local with a C.com or you ain't
Oh,
going to find.
yes. Yeah. Well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm going to, when I post this live, I'm going to figure out how to like put links and stuff, so that you can find us and find our information and get connected because, both of us really love sharing this information. We want to
Mm-hmm.
help as many people as possible get started with short-term rentals, whatever strategy you decide. So yeah, I will have all that information. I will figure out how to do that. But I'm so grateful for all of you who hopped on. If we missed, ooh, that's good that you put baby shared your link. So great. So if we missed a question or if you had other questions, you know, go ahead and just DM either of us and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. All right, guys. So I'm excited to have talk to you, Mariah. This was really, really good. You put some nuggets in my head too, so I'm excited.
Oh, also, if you guys like, if there's something that you guys wanted us to cover, like specifically, like message us in on Instagram, like DM us, and maybe we could do another one and just answer those questions, like in case you were too shy. I don't know why you'd be shy, but we definitely want to answer those questions for the people who are interested in getting started, what that looks like,
Yeah,
different platforms, all that stuff. So,
that's a great idea, and especially people who might be watching this after the live. So yeah, DM
okay.
y'all here for you guys. So all right, hey Cassie. Someone I know. But hi guys, everyone. Thank you so very much, and we will check you on the next live. Right?
Session. Yeah.
All right. Talk to you all soon.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Hi, turn this off.
I didn't get the end button.